Yo guys, it's Tooch here, and today I wanted to finally show off my instruction set. So first off, my instruction set is 16 bits, and I have 32 operations that I can do. So let's start it off with 0, operation 0. Oh, by the way, this is going down binary. Just an easier way of showing off which number it is instead of doing signs. So yeah, so 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 5 bits, 32. So no-op. No-op is an operation that does literally nothing. It's all that is. It's doing. Well, all that it isn't doing technically is just having free space for the CPU just to do nothing. So whenever this operation turns on, the CPU will literally do nothing. So that's helpful if you don't want to affect the state of the CPU. For example, branches to fill in the space, if there is any space, usually call them bubbles. You insert a no-op. Okay, so add-I adds the immediate. Immediate is just a number that the programmer inputs. So add-I adds whatever your immediate is to a source and stores it at whatever address you used for the source. So let's say if you add I 5 here, so let's just do 5 to register 2. It'll add 5 to register 2 and store it back to register 2. That's what it means for being a source and a destination. So that's the same with subtract I sub I. It subtracts the immediate from the register and stores it back to the same register. So then load immediate just takes your immediate and stores it to a register. So these three colors represent source, and a destination. You can think of it as A, B, and C. So those are your locations. So yeah, so add takes your A and B, adds it, stores it to C. Gonna leave that. Sub just does the same. It does A, subtract B, and stores it to whatever location. So add C is add carry. All that does is takes the carry out from the previous function that was used, the previous add carry that was used, and then inserts it into the carrying of the next. So if I had 3 add carries in a row, so if I did add carry, it would take the carry out of the previous one and uses it in its own. So that allows you to add numbers that are bigger than your bit width. So because my CPU is 8 bits, I can do a 16-bit addition, or 64-bit addition, or 256-bit addition. Obviously it takes stupid long to do it, but not stupid long, but it'll take a while to do it. So sub B is the same, except it takes the overflow of the subtraction and puts it back into the carrying of the next. So let's say if I have sub B, it'll use the overflow in the functions below. So that just allows me to subtract numbers that are bigger than my bit width as well. So that's cool. So OR, NOR, XOR, XNOR, and NAND. Those are Boolean functions. Simple. If you don't know them, I'm worried. Oh, by the way, the storing and loading are the same as the add. I'm gonna go over this in a moment. So MDO even, that's miscellaneous data operations. These are operations that are fairly simple to do with hardware, but in software they take a lot of cycles to do. So an example of that is let me just go over here. So miscellaneous operations. Okay. So bit find. So bit finding for whether it's being the MSB or LSB. Right shift. Right shift and rotation. Flip and bit add. So those are my miscellaneous operations. I'm gonna go over the hardware later. So then BSH, this is the barrel shifter. The reason why I have right shift here is because the barrel shifter can only do right shift. Ooh, stirring, Jesus. Yeah, the barrel shifter can only do left shift even, sorry. It can shift by any 3-bit number, so it can shift from 0 to 7 left. So that's why I need a right shift. Technically I could do right shift with the barrel shifter, but it'd take multiple cycles because I'd have to do shift 7 with rotation, then it'd go back, then I'd have to cancel out the first bit and it'd be just weird. So so over here, so 0 means not rotation, 1 means rotation. So that's the first 16 operations done. The first 16 are all to do with manipulating numbers. So let's look at this part. So this is operand selection. This is I think the 3rd revision of this instruction set because I kept changing it to kind of like boost its efficiency. So so one thing I need to mention is that I'm going to have a stack memory. I'm going to go over that in a minute. But first off, let's look at this. So operand selection, these are for these ops to here. So add C, sub B, or, no, XOR, XNOR, and, NAND, MDO. So all these are able to, you can select your own operand you want to use. So let's look over here. So operand selection. So the normal operands used are going to be A and B, and you store that to C. So that's just the normal. So it takes this, and stores it to this. Then there's A plus the stack plus. So it doesn't pop, but it'll peak off the very top of the stack. It'll basically read off the first location. It'll read that off. It'll add that. It'll do the function with A, and it'll start to C. So instead of doing, so let's say, so what was it? It was 1. So instead of doing this, which you'd normally do, so let's say if you're gonna add 1, register 1, register 2, and store that to register 3. God damn it, and so that's what you normally do, but instead now I'm gonna take A, gonna take the stack, and then I'm gonna store that to my destination. So that's how that's gonna work. So then for the second one, you can do stack equals A and B. So what that does is it takes the sources, and instead of storing it to this a register location, it stores it to the stack. So it'll push it onto the top of the stack. So then 3, it'll do stack equals A and a stack. So it'll take a stack and a register location. It'll do whatever operation it needs to do, and it'll store it back to the stack. So this allows me to do like quite a lot more processing in a short amount of time. Because, for example, let's say if I have a function which takes up 7 registers. Oh, by the way, I don't have a 0 register. So if I want to write to 0, it'll have 0 in it no matter what, and it'll always read 0. So it's technically not there. But yeah, so that means I've got 7 free registers instead of 8, because 0 to 7. But yeah, 7 registers. That's not, so let's see if I'm going to do add carry. In fact, let's say if I have a, what's 7 times a is that 40, no, 56, a 56-bit number. And let's say if I have a, actually no, let's say if I have a 64-bit number, I don't have enough registers to store all the numbers. I'm gonna have to use my stack. So instead of having to load the stack into the register, do the stuff, store it back to the stack, do an add, store it back to the, yeah. So that's gonna take a lot more cycles than if I'm able to use the stack, and the registers at the same time. So it'll just accelerate functions that take up a lot of memory. So that's quite useful. So now we're done with those, I think. So yep, done with those. Okay, so these last 16 are all to do with the program counter, memory, and that's about it. And conditions, yeah. So STK, as we found out, it's a stack. For the stack, you can either push or pop. So popping is reading, pushing is storing. So let's say, oh god, my mouse does that often. It's fucking weird. So let's so you have your source and you have your destination. If you want to push something into the stack, so store something to the stack, all you have to do is put this as a 1. I'm gonna just put it here, and you would use whatever source. But if you want to store something back to the registers from the stack, you'd leave this as 0, and you would just put a destination.
Never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right.